Okay, so back over to our views editing page and let's scroll up. Now let's start by creating our personal homepage link. So I'll click add next to fields and I'm going to do a search for personal. Okay, and here's our personal site field. I'll check it and click apply all displays. We're going to uncheck create a label. Notice our relationship is set already. And you see this list of formatters. We can select this to display as a title as a link, title as plain text, a URL as a link, URL as plain text, a URL which is absolute that includes the domain name and HTTP at the beginning of the URL, the domain as a link, which is just the domain part of the URL, a short version, which is the link with the title link, a label, which is the link with the label as the title. So if we specified a label to create here, it would use that label as the title of the link. And we can also display the title and the URL separately. So we have several different options here, which is pretty cool. But what we want is something that's different than what's listed here. If we use the custom formatter module, then we could actually add a custom item here that we could just select that would display like we want it to. For now, like I said already, we're going to build it out by using a rewrite. So I'm going to click rewrite results here. And you might be familiar with this already. We've done something very similar to this in panels. We've done something similar in feeds tamper as well. And what we want to do is rewrite the output of this field. When we check this, we get the text that we're going to use to rewrite it. And if we scroll down and click replacement patterns, we'll get a list of items that we can use within the text here. So to begin with, let's go ahead and type out the text or the HTML as it's going to be without any replacements. So I'm going to type a href equals, and then we'll leave that empty because that's going to be dynamic. And then we'll type learn more about, and then blank at their website. And then we'll close the anchor tag. Okay, so now we need to replace this href dynamically. And if we look at the replacement patterns here, we have this raw URL option. And this gives us just the URL of the link field. So let's copy this, again with the brackets, and we'll paste it inside of our href here. Okay, so that should be good. So the second part is learn more about, and then we need to paste in the name here. So right here we have the username, and we can copy this, again with the brackets, and we'll paste it over this blank area. Okay, now something that's important to note here is that before, when we added our name field, we used the style settings in order to wrap h3 tags around the text. Now those h3 tags aren't going to be pulled in here. This is actually just going to pull in the text of the username, which is pretty cool. But if instead of using the style settings, we use the rewrite results tool that we're using right now in order to add those h3 tags, those h3 tags would get pulled into here. And so we're going to actually go through that process so you can see that in action, so it doesn't catch you off guard later on. Okay, so this should be our full rewrite. This should look good. I'm going to go ahead and click apply all displays. And if we scroll down, we'll see our link here. It says learn more about Betty Davis at their website. And as we hover over it, you see in the lower left-hand corner of the browser, it says whybettydavisrocks.example.com, which is her URL. So this is working great.